AITA for telling my sister that literally anyone can get knocked up. I'm a medical resident with no kids, my sister is a mom with no jobs. I don't judge women who stay home with their kids, but kids simply are not for me and it would drive me crazy to live with them. My sister on the other hand has a son, and to be fair to her, he's a great kid who's really smart and bright. However, he is her whole identity. She's constantly bragging about her son and her only personality these days is being a boy mom. I was in town so I joined my sister for dinner at our parents' house. My aunt was also there. Nephew was crashed upstairs, and my parents were telling her how proud they were of my residency placement, very competitive field, difficult to get into. My aunt made an offhand comment and asked my sister if she's going back to school. My sister said, "No, we all have our talents. Op can study all day, but she could never handle being a mother with fertility issues. She would find it as difficult as I would find med school." I'm paraphrasing, but you get the point. I was annoyed, because my sister has this sense of superiority around being a mother while I'm not one. She basically was saying I would be a bad mother if I was one, and that the 8 years I spent in hell devoid of free time is nothing compared to having unprotected sex and facing the consequences. So I said something bitchy back. Essentially literally anyone can get knocked up, and being a good mom is literally the bare minimum. It seems like you don't realize how hard I fucking worked. My sister left the table, aunt left early, and parents are pretty upset that my sister and I ruined dinner. However, I've put up with her looking down on me for not being a Stepford wife for years. Edit, I absolutely did not mean to make a dig at my sister's fertility issues. I wasn't thinking in that mindset at all and didn't realize that it could be taken that way. I really just wanted to tell her that I don't think our jobs are of equal difficulty. Edit 2, thank you guys seriously for helping me make the connection in understanding why my words were so hurtful. Didn't even realize I made a dig at her infertility, and I've been in bed crying and reflecting because I feel like a mega asshole. Right now I'm formulating an apology and I'm going to go talk to her. No, we all have our talents. Op can study all day, but she could never handle being a mother with fertility issues. She would find it as difficult as I would find med school. What backhanded snide bullshit. TA. Women with fertility issues that act like this give all the others a bad name. How are the fertility issues are even relevant when the child is already born? Of course I'm not dismissing the struggle of infertility. It's just weird to bring up when she is already a mom. Edit, I didn't read well and didn't notice she is trying to conceive a second time. I thought she was talking about the issues she had in the past, which is why I found it weird. In any way, I'm not casting any judgment here, it was just something I did not understand. Info, what was the sister's reference to fertility issues about? Did your sister have problems that made it really hard to conceive and carry her son? You said anyone can get knocked up, but that's not true. I wonder if the sister had a history of infertility IVF/miscarriages BC that would affect how I see the situation. Her son was fine, no issues there, but she is having trouble giving him a sibling. ESH. Your sister for making her mom life seem more important than your med life. Everyone has their talents and she could have just ended it there instead of condescendingly saying you'd never be able to handle it. But you could have just said we will never have the same goals and that's fine, but you shouldn't talk down about my life choices as I won't about yours. No, not everyone can get knocked up, and no, being a good mom is not the bare minimum. I do not ever want children personally and wouldn't want someone who made their life being a mom to feel bad about it. You both lead very different and difficult lives and you guys might never face the same challenges. You both need to understand that. ESH. You're both dismissive and jealous of one another, and dinner with you all sounds unpleasant. AITA for asking my dad to drive me home in the middle of my engagement dinner. I, F26, just got engaged to my fiancée, M32, who's the only son my future mother-in-law has, and she is incredibly involved in his adult life. At first that didn't bother me, as I see it as a good thing that he has a good relationship with his mom, but it started getting worse with her constantly getting involved in my personal life as well. His family decided to have a small celebration for our engagement and they invited my family for dinner. I wasn't so comfortable with having a celebration cause I felt that my fiance and I should decided whether we want it or not. Anyways, I had my mom, dad, brother attend. We met some of his family members there as well. Things were going fine, till my mother-in-law talked about wedding/honeymoon and stuff like that. My fiance was talking and I just sat there listening. She then started talking about future grandkids and this is when I got uncomfortable. I'm a living child-free and planning on living child-free all my life, and I think that it mostly because of experiencing a traumatic death of my younger sibling, my sister, who was sick and I was the closest one to her. She was young and during her sickness I felt like I was being a mother to her. My parents knew how much her and I were connected and her death was so devastating. I will never know what it feels like to lose a child, but losing her felt like a piece of me was gone. I don't want kids thinking they'd be gone one day and I'll have to deal with this awful pain for the rest of my life, like how I'm dealing with my sister's death. I already discussed this with my fiance, but instead of telling her to drop it, he just let her go on. My parents noticed her behavior. My dad told her that I wasn't planning on being a mom, but she just laughed it off and said that I'll change my mind. They started making a toast. She made a toast saying to my future grandchildren. I got sick of it. I quietly told my Fiabs that I wanted to leave, but he told me to wait. I turned to my dad and asked him if he could drive me home, and my family all got ready to leave. My mother-in-law tried to pressure us into staying, but we left eventually. In about 30 minutes after her guests left, I got a call from my fiance telling me his mom wants to talk. He gave her his phone and she blew up on me for walking out and embarrassing her in front of her guests and brought up the kids topic and said that she get a say in that. She berated me for 5 minutes then hung up on me. My fiance called but I ignored him. I went home with my family feeling awful. The whole situation sucks, and I cried feeling hurt by them and their lack of consideration and them just steamrolling my decisions as a person like that. NTA. Do not marry this guy. He will always put his mother first and he will never have your back. If you ignore my advice and stay with him, use long-term birth control, implant or IUD, that can't be tampered with, and maintain your own bank account for your income/savings. Because his mother can't be trusted not to mess with your birth control, and your fiance will give his mother your savings if she asks for it. Absolutely NTA. And I'd be really worried your fiance did not back you up. I don't often say this, but you should consider breaking off the engagement. This does not bode well for the marriage. He let his mother say all these things without taking any action. He let her scold me and even tricked me into thinking he wanted to talk to me, then gave her the phone and she kept berating me for leaving while she didn't stop ignoring my feelings and how that topic is so sensitive to me and very personal. I'm done with her constantly trying to get involved in everything I do. Just because my fiance lets her, that doesn't mean she has a right to dictate how I live and what decisions I make. She's so selfish and inconsiderate and has no respect for others' feelings. NTA. May I suggest that you rethink your fiance as a life partner? He seems not willing to address his mother as an equal adult, create some boundaries for her to keep, and defend you when needed. All of those are part of a strong, enduring marriage. Unfortunately, there's no effort being made on his part. He lets her get away with a lot of things, talking about a sensitive and a personal topic like that in disregard for my feelings and with no respect for my decisions should have been handled by him, but he just let her. And then her telling me that she gets a say in whether I have kids or not is a disrespectful remark, and I'm seriously considering cutting her out. Your mill is only part of your problem. The bigger problem is that your fiancé supports her and not you. He handed her the phone so she could berate you after leaving a dinner where she insulted you and tried to dictate whether you would have children. Consider this a preview of what it will be like to be married to her, because you essentially will be. NTA, but proceed with caution. Your spouse is literally supposed to be your partner and before all others for a damned reason. AITA for refusing to take in my father's daughter. My father cheated on my mother and got another woman pregnant. Mom immediately filed for divorce. He went on to marry the other woman. My dad didn't have much custody of me when I was little. He was a nice and tried really hard, but my mom was my primary custodian and there is nothing that I wouldn't do for her. I guess the fact that he always disrespects my mom, acts like she is the reason he cheated, just made me hate him. My mother also strictly told my father that I am not to have any contact with his wife/child. This happened when I was 5. I am now 20. Right now, I don't have any family except for my father, with whom I have cut all contact with. He didn't come to my mom's funeral and that was the last straw for me. Few months ago, my father's daughter, Tracy, contacted me. Turns out that she has lost both her parents to the pandemic. She was about to go into foster care and begged me to help her. I told her very politely that I do not want to have any contact with her and that she cannot possibly expect me to take care of her when I am just a broke college student. She told me that she had plans and she would work and all I have to do is not let her go into foster home. She told me that she will take care of herself. She asked me to help her as I am her sister. As I mentioned, I have no clue about this person. I don't even know if what she was suggesting was legally possible. In the end, I told her that I wasn't in any position to help her and I don't know her. I told her that while we do have the same father, I don't consider him to be my father and I don't consider her to be my sister. I wished her luck but also firmly told her that I do not wish to have any contact with her. After that I ignored any attempt she made to contact me. She has recently started trying to contact me again. I had some glimpse at the messages and she alternates between calling me monster/heartless to how awful her foster home is. I haven't responded. AITA? Nah, this is just so sad. You both are innocent in this situation with no control over what happened to you. I can understand why you feel the way you do. While I don't think you should have to take on an enormous responsibility, I'd hope you can remember that she is no more responsible for this situation than you are. It's so sad that you were both left to clean up a mess you did not create. Just remember that she is only 15 and your father's mistakes are his and his alone, not hers. If you respond to her at any point, please be kind. Now I'm shocked that her parents didn't coordinate any sort of plan should this scenario happen. Does she not have any other relatives on her mother's side? Nah, she's a scared 14 to 15-year-old in foster care and you're the only option she can see out of it. Sucks, but you aren't wrong. You don't have to have a relationship with her, and it's not like you were in any position to take care of her. It's a sucky situation, but it's probably best if you ask her to stop messaging you and if she doesn't block her. I understand she's going through a lot, but it doesn't give her the right to take it out on you. A strand fur kid probably has a whole fantasy relationship with Pop in her head. I know I did about my much older brothers, that they would rescue me from our father, that they loved me, that one day I'd go live with them. Is in no position to parent this kid, but it's a bitter dose of truth for kid sis. Nah. Nah, I don't blame her for doing whatever it takes to get away from foster care, even if it is contacting someone she doesn't know. I also don't blame you for turning her down. That is a big commitment for someone your age. You shouldn't be guilted into something like that for someone you don't even know. Thank you. I am horrified by the people suggesting this is something Up should do and trying to guilt her into it. She doesn't know this girl, and she's a college student without parents supporting her, which means she's full-time college and working. I've been in that position, and there is no way she can take care of a stepsister, even if the kid is an angel, and teenagers never are. There's nah, but Op's instincts say she can't do this. She knows the position she's in much better than anyone on Reddit, and none of us should be telling her that she needs to reconsider her decisions.